Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Drop Room. This is episode number 12. This is Road to Gex Glory. GEXcon going on, coming up, I believe, this weekend. And I think Darf will be in attendance. And speaking of Darf, my man is back with me again. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Obviously, it was a pretty rough weekend for the community in general, but I'm doing well. How
Yeah,
about
it
you?
was. There was a little bit of a hit in the heart over this weekend, but I'm sure
Mhm.
we'll get back to that. There are other things that happened this weekend, and we got a number of topics to talk about this week. We're gonna kick it off with a little Zotac Cup Masters. After that, we'll talk about IEM Chicago, the closed qualifier, and the spectacle of an event that was, because we were talking about a certain team that won that qualifier just a couple episodes ago. So we'll talk about that. We got the Advanced Cup qualifications that happened as well. The 1 day or 2 day cup, whatever ESEA was doing with that. They don't really
I think it was just
advertise
a
it
one
that
day.
heavily. Yeah, pretty sure it was. Then we'll talk about our DreamHack Stockholm predictions that is coming up on the 29th. So we're going to give those to you. And hopefully we have a few saucy ones, saucy predictions for you. As always, there's a lot of roster movement coming up in the player break, and as we move into the MDL seasons, we got some more from that, and then we'll dive into the GEXcon weekend where you can meet Mr. Darth Mike. Um, wow, look at that face. Who wouldn't want to meet that?
We got a lot of topics this week, though.
we do, yeah.
We're not gonna be able
We
to
we
dilly dally.
we got a fair bit here, so we're
We
gonna
gotta slide
jump
on
right
in.
into it. We've already taken up a little bit of your time, so we're gonna jump right into the Zotac Cup Masters. This wasn't a surprise, not a surprise event, at least for the winner. For the winner, it wasn't a surprise. The
No,
beginning of the event was we're
a
just
little
gonna
bit of
take
chaos.
Balti and smack him
Some
around
upsets.
because we
Hey,
don't like his predictions.
do you remember my predictions?
I do remember your predictions
Pretty
and how
well.
absolutely heinous they were,
And
and then they came
absolutely
true.
correct they were.
Yes. So
Although I think
naturally,
I called Tyloo over Kingwin, so that's
you
my
did,
winner.
yes. We did. We both did predict Tyloo over Kingwin, but we'll give it up to those Polish players. We will not give it up to the other ones because that was just pitiful. So in the upper bracket, the first two matches, I say upper bracket as if it's a double bracket. It's really not. It's just the upper half of the single bracket.
It was a single
MIBR,
elimination bracket. It's nuts.
yes, brutal. $300,000
300K
event.
event.
Hey, if you come out and you lose your first match, too bad. Go home. No money for you. Leave.
All I'm saying is based on how delayed it was, maybe it's good they didn't have a lower bracket.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
You had players
I would
playing
have felt
events at
bad for the
like 2
casters
a.m.
if that was
local
the
time.
case. Yeah.
It's nuts.
So in that first half, MIBR came out with the victory over Flash, beating them 2-0, and then Kingwin beat Tyloo. I believe it was 2-1. So at least the Chinese gave them a little bit of a fight. But then we go into the lower half of this single bracket, and it was not what I expected in the slightest. So MVP PK beat Virtus Pro, and I I look at this and I just go, how in the hell do VP lose this match?
What I'll say is VP is now the weakest VP team in the world. I think NAVP might be able to beat them at this point. Vireo Pro. It's look, MVP have actually been playing some decent CS. Like, that's the thing about the victory. It wasn't just that VP stunk, because they did. They're bad. Virtus
Yes.
Pro. There's no coordination, there's no trading, there's not proper like execution. Like, it's just sloppy, gross CS, which is so absurd based on how much experience is still on that team. But MVP looked really coordinated. They traded well. Like, I was impressed with their roster, in addition to being deeply disappointed in the Polish legends, who are a fading star.
Yeah, at least those Koreans, they are undisputed the best team in their country and almost their region, I would say. It's really them and Tyloo, and that's about
If you
it.
separate North and Southeast Asia, then they're definitely
Yes.
over that one Japanese team that came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
but
who Scars Absolute. They won one series, and we were like, "Yo, the Japanese are coming in," and then they just got anime slapped out of there. So that was the case for VP. They took the L, no prize money for them, and then we see Ghost versus Optic. Now this one I actually cared about because VP losing, whatever. They've sucked for so long at this point. I have no I have no attachment to them other than just disappointment. We go into Optic
You
versus
still have
Ghost.
one of their shirts.
I do have a shirt. I bought that
sadness
many.
in your heart.
There is.
Broken
I do have that shirt. So
nostalgic attachment.
Maybe I'll burn it for the views. Who knows?
Hashtag burn it for the views.
Ghost versus Optic. Going into this matchup, I'm thinking Optic's gonna win it. Ghost coming in with Crystal, I'm not confident. And then Wardell was just like,
Power of the sticky notes, man. Power of the sticky notes.
It is the power of the sticky notes. Those were ridiculous. The fact that like they're just like along. I was like, this guy is on another IQ level right now. And Optic is just looking rough. After that specific loss, I just question the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's been questioning the whole team for a while now. It was hilarious because, I mean, the reason I get a lot of schadenfreude from this Optic team in particular is because they did that whole thing where they froze out all the American components of the roster. It was the mixed Danish-American roster, and they were like trying to make it work. And then based on, reporting and what people talked about, it seems like they froze out the Americans and sort of hijacked the roster and brought over more Danes, made a full Danish roster. They're like, okay, now we're going to win. We have all the pieces. We got our Danish coach. We've got our Danish fraggers. We got our Danish up-and-coming talent. Denmark, best Counter-Strike country in the world. And then just...
Yeah. It's brutal. So Ghost wins that series on the back of some huge Wardell plays. This guy was absolutely popping off over in Wan Chai, Hong Kong. So we move into the next side. So it would have been, was it Ghost versus Kingwin?
Ghost versus Kingwin.
And then Kingwin won that, making it into
versus,
the finals.
Versus MVP. Can we just talk about how ridiculously easy of a tournament this was for MIBR?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's why, like, last week I was like, if you don't win this event, just quit. Just stop playing Counter-Strike at that point. Like,
MIBR on the road to $200,000 paycheck played Flash, MVP, and Kingwin.
So really the strongest competition in the world. the superior VP. Think of the level that MVP is on right now.
How wild is it though that we are now at a point in the scene where there's a $300,000 event and one tier 1 team is there?
Are you saying that it's good for the scene?
Well, it's good for the scene and it's mixed, right? Because on the one hand, it's great for the scene because there's so much money in the scene that someone throwing a $300K tournament with like no tier 1 presence really, apart from MIBR. On the other hand, there's an argument for saturation where it's like $300,000 being thrown around and nobody's going. There are a million events right now, but overall, more money, rising tide raises ships, right? So I'm into it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm into the prize pool distribution. 300K is nice. $0 for 5th through 8th, I think, is a little rough. I don't know if I like that in terms of just like you came out, here's nothing. Like even a little something would have been nice.
I don't know. I guess I'm of the opinion that at the end of the day, if you go to a tournament and you come out 8th, I don't think you deserve prize money. I'm in favor of top half getting something and bottom half, like, if you can't hang, you can't hang. Prizes are for winners.
Who's to say? Typically, you take the prize pool, you cut it in half, and half of it goes to the winner. Pretty typical.
I don't know.
Who's to say you can't take 20K out of that first place, give them 180 for winning, still over half, still a sizable amount of cash, and 5K to each of the teams that came out in the bottom half?
What I'll say is usually these TOs are providing travel support and logistics support. They're flying them out, they're giving them hotels, they're feeding them for the week. That's usually that's part of the course for this level of tournament, right? So it's not costing them anything to go except for time, opportunity cost. And at the end of the day, if you're going to compete in a tournament, you're going with the assumption that you can compete, that you can play, that you deserve to be there. And if you ultimately get bodied and don't win a single match, I mean, I agree. Based on this format, it's pretty rough. Where if you just win one BO or lose one BO3, you're out of there. Like that's a rough format. But at the end of the day, they knew what the format was going in. If you can't compete, I don't think you deserve a piece of the spoils.
So it's a little tough love. If you lose, you're done. Get
That's
out.
the nature of competition. It's called a prize because you earn it, right? It's your reward for earning something. It's not a
Very
prize
true.
if everyone gets one, then it's just a pay.
Very true. So we go into the finals. MIBR, Kingwin, and MIBR. Give him a little smack.
Easy clap.
Hello,
It was a
mother.
best of 5 too. Can you
Few
imagine?
comments.
And it was like late at night too. Stay up all night for these matches just to get absolutely wrecked. Faulty's room is being invaded right now.
Yeah, it is being invaded. I think my mom has food. Mom, I want food.
Not
Come
during the
back.
show. You
I
can
still
wait.
want it. I want it in my
wait.
area. I want it in
You
my
wait.
area.
Professionalism, folks. This is professionalism at its finest.
This is professionalism at its finest.
Yeah, this is
Just leave. You just leave it at the door.
You see what I have to work with. Like, leave it at the door like he's in prison. Leave it at the cell door.
Yeah, leave it at the iron bars.
Oh God. Anyways, you see what I have to work with here, folks. So some
Okay.
storylines, some takeaways from this event. First of all, VP still suck. We've talked about that at length.
Yeah.
New development in VP continuing to suck. Apparently, Bialy is leaving the roster, who has actually been one of their better performing players as of late. So it makes sense that he's leaving.
Where does he go is the question. Does Snacks recruit him into Mouse? Do they kick out somebody else and are just like, let's get him in here?
I don't think Snacks exited VP with very good sentiments. Now, I don't know whether
probably not.
he and Bialy are cool. Like, I know he and some of the older guys are not cool based on, what was publicly stated.
Mhm.
So I don't know if Mouse is trying to bring in Bialy. He's going to stay along till the major. Now, here's the question. VP's already, wounded and limping. They somehow make it to the major.
Yeah.
Any shot at the major? Like a last hurrah from Bialy, he just goes Super Saiyan?
No. No. After that MVP loss, no.
Yeah.
No. Any semblance of going into Hong Kong, I'm thinking okay, if they beat MVP, maybe I believe in them just a little bit, and then they lose it. It's all dignity is gone. This team has no identity anymore. Before it was VP. Now it's just
wow.
Now it's just
the
terrible.
plow's broken down. The blade is left in a field. The horses have run away. There's just nothing left. There's nothing left.
Yeah, that field is just drought. It's gone.
Okay. Second storyline coming out of this. Will Optic ever win anything with this roster? My answer, no.
If they couldn't beat Ghost with a stand-in, you're done.
It's just so mystifying to me too, because it's each of these pieces are fine. KHB has been an excellent AWPer in the past.
Yes.
Config is config. The man is incredible when he's on. Gade was incredibly promising. Yugi was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, he was a really up and coming AWPer, and we were just yo, guys, the one. And then they make this roster, and you're yo, this blows.
Could have worked.
Why is this team so bad? Especially with Snappy. Snappy is good at IGLing.
Maybe Snappy isn't so good at IGLing.
But maybe he sucks, bro.
I mean, what I'm saying is if you've got all these pieces and you can't get them to work, maybe the question is with leadership. I don't know whether it's with Roger or whether it's with Snappy, but if you're having this much trouble getting these different pieces, these very strong different pieces to work together as a whole, I have to question whether it's leadership or people not respecting leadership, in which case it's a coaching issue. Because we know Config is headstrong. Based on the reports of the NA Danish Optic, it kind of seemed like maybe KGB was being a bit headstrong too. Maybe this team just really doesn't gel. It's just they've been together a little while now, and they just really haven't done anything too promising. I mean, they have I'm just looking at the recent results. They've got a 2-1 over Euronics. It's not even a 2-0. It's a 2-1 over Euronics in a Star League. I think it's even just a quali. They lost to NIP, another team that's doing terribly lately. They beat ENSE 2-1. Okay. They beat NIP back in July. I mean, they're distinctly tier 3 at this point at the best. Yeah. They can compete at tier 3, but not even reliably. And when this team came in, you were another tier 1 Danish.
Yeah, and like even the statement of they can compete at tier 3. Who cares about
Yeah,
competing at tier 3?
that's not
Like
what Optic got
that's
this
just
roster
how like
for.
irrelevant they are. Like, oh man, like Optics thinking like, yo, these guys can compete at tier 3. It's irrelevant unless you can compete at tier 1 or even at the upper echelon of tier 2. It's kind of irrelevant.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
So
I would tend to agree. So that's Optic. We talked about it's MIBR's easiest path to 200K ever. So
oh
it
yeah,
definitely was.
yeah.
Nice little confidence booster, but ultimately none of these teams should be they shouldn't feel good about beating any of these teams, really.
Yeah, I don't think it's the fact that like after the games they'd be like, "Yo, we just beat MVP, bro." Like,
Holy shit,
like
we beat this
yes,
team
guys,
from
we did it. Like,
Korea.
yes,
Named CSC.
like we beat Flash. Like we're really good against these Asian teams. Oh my god, we beat Kingwin, guys. Like, there's no way that like all of that accumulates to like, yo, guys, we're so good right now. But at least like 200K in the pocket and a nice little trophy to go along with it. At least it's like I have a trophy rather than I just beat these 3 tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams.
My theory on why we haven't seen more powerhouses come out of Korea is that they're all busy playing Widowmaker and Zenyatta.
Yeah, very true. Koreans don't care about Counter-Strike.
Not
Like,
really.
unless it's these 5, and then like every once in a while they'll be like the team that like the main team farms from if
Mhm.
somebody's like coming up. But it's like other than that, they're playing League and they're playing Overwatch or Dota 2. I'm not really
Or
familiar with the
StarCraft.
Dota scene. Or
StarCraft's
StarCraft,
still
which
a
is
thing.
even more dying than anything I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like I'd put it on the Heroes of the Storm tier of esports right now.
Rough. All right, so remaining storylines, because we do have to get through this. We do
Yes.
have a lot of topics to talk about.
Yes.
Can Ghost carry this success against Optic forward? It's just one BO3.
Yeah.
It was a nice BO3. It was a nice statement match, but also Optic is Optic right now.
Yeah.
I liked the form out of Ghost. I really did.
Mhm.
It'll be interesting to see if they can apply it to other teams.
Especially with Crystal in the lineup. If they're going to continue to keep him there, then we'll see how it goes.
Seems like it. I
And
mean,
it's usually the recipe for success. Add a European, and you
there
might
you
do
go.
okay.
Add a random European. Doesn't even.
But
need
it's got to be
back.
one. You can't have 3 come in and then they hijack your roster.
€1. Only €1.
Yes.
The balance must
i.e.
be maintained.
NRG. Exactly. The NA must hold their power over the EU. Okay, this is getting scary.
It's getting weird.
This
All
is
right.
scary.
Who's going to be the best Polish team? Because it's not going to be VP. Kingwin and Ago have kind of gone back and forth. Kingwin's looked good. Ago's looked good. I don't
But
know.
they lose Snatchy.
Who you got?
I'll go
Who's
lose
the
Snatchy.
you
So
think
it's
doesn't?
like I think Kingwin, simply because of that move, take it, but we'll see.
Did you ever think you'd say the sentence, man, Snatchy really downgraded rosters when he moved from Ago to Virtus Pro?
If you had told me that a couple years ago, I'd be like, who the hell is Snatchy? And what the hell is he doing on Virtus Pro because they're that good? Like,
Yeah.
who do you remove from such a legendary team? But now I'm just like, at this point, if you were like a week ago, if you were like, yo, Snatchy's going to VP, I'd be like, thank God.
Here's what happens. They're going to cut everyone but Snatchy and just steal the Ago roster back.
Yes.
Ago signed SVP. That's how we're going to do it.
And honestly, if you told me that, I'd be like, they've improved. They look better.
Yeah. So moving on to the other part of the world, we're back from our foray to Asia, our trip to Hong Kong.
We're now arriving in the Windy City.
The Windy City, IEM Chicago Qualifier. Very exciting.
Now this is something don't get me wrong. I know that I've shit on them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware. But United have come out victorious in a qualifier. It's happened. Ladies and gentlemen, the pigs have flown. United have won a qualifier. It is insane that they did it. And in the fashion that it was done in.
Yeah.
I was biting my nails.
Quali too. It's
until
not like
I
it was
fell
a
asleep.
small. Yeah, it's not like it's a small qualifier. It's IEM Chicago. You know, it's an IEM. These are legit tournaments.
So if you were here, not you, Darth, but the viewer, the beautiful person watching this, if you were here, I think either a week ago or 2 weeks ago now on episode 10, I asked, when does E United do something?
Yes.
When do they level up? When do they grind, kill all the dungeon monsters, and actually ascend to the next level and compete and qualify for something? And I asked it, and I was very passionate. I went in fully prepared. I had all the notes. And this time, they have finally done it and qualified for IEM Chicago. And to be fair, if they didn't, if like ESL didn't have like this internal issue, they would have qualified for it even before they had to beat Cloud9 in that final. So they would have qualified it for it then. And we'd still be having the same conversation. You did it. Finally.
It's very true. They did. And it just the way they did over C9, NA's darling, over Cloud9. They took in total series, they played them in the upper bracket. They got knocked out 2-1 in the upper bracket. Then they came back from the lower bracket and played them again. In total, they won 4-3. So they played a total of 7 maps against Cloud9, and they were all competitive maps.
Yeah.
Which it's nuts. I don't know how much that says for Cloud9. All I'm saying is Stewie killed 2 teams. But Stewie 2K, 2 kills, 2 teams. But E United, it's incredibly exciting for, and they had some monstrous form in that whole series. Ace, in particular, I want to highlight just for his play on Train. There's, of course, that one clutch in overtime, which I don't know if you've seen the clip since you fell asleep before the match ended.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but I had to work at 4 a.m. The game ended at like 2. Like, come on.
It's not my fault. I'll allow it. I'm disappointed in you, Balti, but I'll allow it. So anyway, like for Counter-Strike, screw work. Ace is up on the upper side of the B bomb side, of the inner bomb side. Bomb's planted. He's trying to defend the defuse. He's standing in a molly. There's 2 players alive. He's got a teammate. He hits the first shot. He's got the op, right? He hits the first shot, is still burning in the molly, and just peeks again to go for the second shot. And it was such a fast flick that I thought he had actually missed it. He just lightning flicks to the head.
Yeah,
hits
I saw
the shot.
It's ridiculous.
Somehow gets out of the molly too. It was nuts.
See, I like that you brought this up earlier too, in that, like, is this bad for Cloud9?
Yes, 100%.
Because like going into this, I'm thinking, okay, Stico, however you want to say it, Stico,
the tracker,
and Golden in a roster that lost their 2 best pieces. Keep in mind, Cloud9 kept the bad parts of their team. Ska, when does Ska have good form?
Ska was good in this series. Actually, he's the only reason they didn't get.
Very true. I will be fair, is that like series. He was actually the only shining light in this. Rush has been bad on this team for a long time.
I don't know what's up with Rush.
Yeah, Tim's
good.
Pretty rough. Good. Yeah, Tim is still Tim. He'll do his thing. But then you have Stico and Golden. It just feels like they were like, let's just scrape whatever we can from EU and try to go with it.
Stico had a lot of clutches in this series. Stico was actually playing pretty well.
We were just talking about this. You gotta get €1. You can't go more than €1.
The balance is off.
This is what they get for adding 2. You can't. It has to be 1. NRG is the example.
So who's gonna go, Golden or Stico?
Well, I mean, unless Cloud9 get like a competent IGL, they have to keep Golden. But like, do you keep Golden over Stico? Now that you've run into this problem of, now we added 2, but we have to only keep 1 because that's the secret. So what do? Now you're not only is your team in turmoil, but now you put it even deeper in the turmoil.
What I'll say is, Golden's actually signed. Stico's a stand-in. So
very true.
Whether he should or not, Life of Martin is probably going to be moving on to another location if they don't have success at the major. I think he's playing with them through the major, but obviously that's the big test.
Yeah.
Can the defending major champions show form at the major?
So then my other question, form-wise, this is a genuine question, not a critique or an insult or anything like that. I genuinely want to know what Moose's role is within this team. I look at the stat line. Dapper does quite well. Ace actually turns up. He has one of his actually like decent games where he's not a complete detriment. And Relix plays like a professional, like Relix is. And I want to know what Moose's role is in this team because from the MDL, it was all Moose all day. This kid beasted on kids for what, 4 straight seasons? Just every season absolutely dominating. And now we go into these games against Cloud9. He's -9 as well as Dazzle is -9 in that series. It's not a crazy deficit of your KD, but I just wonder does he can he carry over the form that he once had, or is it a role issue?
I don't think it's so. I guess in some extent it's a role issue, but I don't think it's a problem.
I don't think it's a problem either. I just wonder if it's a role issue.
That's why I think he's taking a bit more of a backseat in terms of just raw fragging to say a Dapper, who Dapper's like a wrecking ball of murder. Like you throw Dapper at things and he kills them. That's what Dapper does. And I think just based on what I've watched, Moose is playing less of that extreme aggression. He's still doing that sometimes where he'll push or he'll lurk or he'll do this or he'll do that, or he'll just wind up with a deagle against 3 and pull out an insane clutch out of nowhere. Like you can still count on Moose to do that every once in a while, but they're not relying on Moose to the same extent that the old roster did. And I think that it's reflecting itself in the score sheet more because of the opportunities that he's being given than necessarily his play. Because he's still rock solid in terms of play. At the end of the day, you know, in a clutch, I'd love to have Moose there with an AK.
And it also kind of makes me wonder, back in the day in Eclipse Lunar, and very true, he can play any gun he wants. He's that nuts. Back in Eclipse Lunar, when it was him playing with a teammate named Buju. I don't know if you're familiar with Buju. Buju or Buju? Either one. I'm pretty sure it was Buju. He was a player that Moose actually thought of as like his favorite player on the team. Statistically, he was not great, but he was one of those players on the team that Moose could always count literally anything. I always attributed that to being he's just happy to be there, so he'll do whatever he wants to. But the fact that like Moose had maybe that kind of mentorship, maybe something to learn from, in that like when the team needs it, he'll do it. And that's the kind of guy that Moose will be. So I would understand if that was the kind of thing. It's Boohoo?
Apparently, according to Droid. I don't know what Droid knows, though. Droid is top memer.
All right.
Top memer NA.
Yeah, Droid is top memer NA, right? The kid's on another level of meme game, so shout out to Droid for those memes. But anyways, Boohoo. He was a player that would take on any role if the team needed it. And I feel like maybe Moose is taking that same level because he knows, and everybody knows how good this team can be. It's just a matter of them actually doing it. So if he takes that backseat, it's very understandable and respectable.
One exciting storyline for Chicago, just for E United as a team and the individuals, is it's Dazzle's hometown. And the last time the core, and by the core, in this instance, it's Dapper Ace Dazzle, played a LAN in Chicago, you saw my tweet. They won it. Mad City.
I reported on that. I was there. I got to witness the greatness that was that 2-0 comeback.
Facts. So obviously,
the first heap was nuts.
IEM Chicago going to be a slightly different scale than Pheasant Run. Just a little bit, but it's going to be really exciting to see them play in front of the hometown crowd as sort of these upstarts. I think they're going to steal a lot of hearts. I think they're gonna get a lot of United fans at that tournament.
I personally, I'm gonna go into it thinking the old ways of ball, in that they won't do anything.
You're just gonna assume they won't do anything?
I'm going to go full hater, I guess. If you want to throw the hater tag on it, still love this team. I just don't think they'll do anything.
Okay.
Well, like even going up against VP is like MVP PK is in this event. Them against MVP PK.
That'd be a good match, actually.
That would be. I'd like to see that.
I kind of want to watch that match now. I kind of want to watch it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually hyped if that winds up being a matchup. Speaking of other,
that would be clean.
The European side qualifier. I know we get a little less hype about the European side because we like our local boys. North went through. So is North gonna do anything
with Nico? They brought a Nico over Mertz.
Oh, that's right, Mertz failed experiment.
Yes. So I think they'll do okay. Honestly, hey, give me E United versus North. What then?
That'd be hype, actually. There's a lot of teams here. I mean, it's going to be really tough for United, but there are definitely win against. There aren't teams that they've won against on land, but they have won against online before. I mean, they've taken maps off of SK when SK was SK. off of Liquid, off of C9. I mean, obviously off of C9, which beat C9. Ha. Uh,
Got him.
NRG. They kept NRG out of the major. Like this, I don't know. I don't know. I think E United could surprise some people. We'll see what the bracket winds up being. It's all going to be about what the bracket winds up being, right?
Yeah, very true. So it's like group stage brackets, so it won't be typical GSL format as it's called, or will it be GSL? According to the
I'm not sure.
Wikipedia, it will be GSL. 2 double elimination
Really?
format groups.
I think IEMs always do GSL, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it'll be basically 8-team groups, with 3 making it out per group. The winner of the group will go to the semis, and then 2-3 will go into the quarterfinals against each other.
Okay.
There you go.
So that's IEM Chicago.
Yep, gotta bust through these topics because we got lots. So that is IEM Chicago. That is IEM Chicago. E United win it. Congratulations for qualifying for something. I'm very happy to see it now that I called it into question and it came to be. So I'm glad that I was proven wrong, or just proven right. Depends on how you look at it. The Advanced Cup is over. The 1 day, 2 day. Pretty sure it was 1 day, but who knows? There was a lot of teams in that, so that would have been a long day at Counter-Strike because there were a lot of teams trying to qualify for Advanced, which is no surprise. Everybody wants that quick jump to MDL so that way they can make that cash money. And I believe it was
a little bit of cash money.
It's a little bit of cash money.
MDL's a little bit.
It's not as much as, or it's more than open. So yes. It's better to try to go for Advanced
more than open
than it is to go for open. So Furia, the Brazilians, and My Revenge are into Advanced through the cups.
Furia makes complete sense.
Oh,
they're gonna team 1 it. I'll be surprised if they really encounter too much competition in Advanced. I mean, there are strong teams in Advanced, but they should make playoffs easy. I'll put it that way.
So, but hold on. They're going to pull a team 1. They're going to dominate the league. They're going to go into the playoffs, and they're going to spank every American in there. Is that the case?
I don't know if it's
good odds on
that, but I think there's good odds. I think they're an MDL caliber team based on what I've seen from them before.
But hold on. Are they an MDL caliber team when it was 24 teams, or are they going to be MDL caliber when they reduce it to the actual size that they want?
Advance is going to be more challenging next season. Absolutely, just because of the way the relegation tournament is presumably going to shake out. But
MDL caliber is taking it's taking on a whole new definition now.
That's true. I guess we'll have
MDL
to see how it
caliber of
shakes out.
24 or MDL caliber of 16.
At what point? How many Brazilian teams do we have to have an MDL before they just make a new division for them?
A couple more.
ESEA Brazil.
We're gonna need just a few more of them to move up here before
more imports.
Yes, because Brazil Open only pays so much, so
no, it does not.
There's only so much that they can do.
Not the path forward.
Or are you saying that they need a whole new Brazil MDL? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I'm saying they need more divisions in Brazil. There's a lot of talent coming out of Brazil.
Very true.
Like, at least give them a couple more divisions. I mean, they're just coming up here. They're taking all our roster spots.
They're taking our jobs up here, Daddy.
No, but I mean, they're good. They're really good teams. The fact that we have this process of a team having to go through Advanced or having to go through, I mean, it used to be Main, and just sort of smacking on their way to MDL. It just kind of delays their ascent to MDL, and when they're really clearly at that caliber, and it's almost unfair to teams that are actually Advanced caliber, because I mean, especially with Team 1 was flawless, right? Flawless. They didn't belong in the division, but they were in division. They had to be.
It leaves you speechless, just the thought of it.
It's just, I don't know. So I think Fury is going to replicate a lot of their success. They're a very good team. They're coming, they're playing together. They're in a team house. They have support. They're fully devoted to Counter-Strike. Just that inherent advantage beyond the talent of the individual players, being able to 24/7 devote yourself to Counter-Strike and have that kind of facility behind it. It's better than 90% of Advanced because, you know, they have other things. It's not most Advanced players' primary occupation to play Counter-Strike.
Very true. So speaking of commitment to Counter-Strike, Furia is all in. My Revenge with Twiggy, the commitment may be called into question once again. He is back with his boy Spermy and Koga.
I'm happy to see the return of Spermy. I like Spermy. He gave one of my first interviews in a phenomenal interview. If anyone hasn't seen it, you should go check it out. It's on the Nerd Street Gamers YouTube channel. It's a 20-minute sit-down interview with him at Chicago. That was right after Twiggy land dodge / abandoned the rosters out of nowhere. It's a good companion piece to what we're going to talk about right now. So there's the plug. What I'll also say is I was very surprised. I'm very surprised that A, Twiggy's coming back, and that B, Spermy and Koga are just playing with him again. Because, I mean, Twiggy left them in the lurch in a big way. I'm going to be very curious the next time I see these guys, or I might actually just reach out to find out what the story is there on the return, because you can go back and see that interview. Jake was emotional. Jake is Spermy was emotional about this because he and Twiggy were friends in real life. They'd hung out in person, they knew each other, and it was a betrayal in a lot of ways. And so now Twiggy comes back. Twiggy rides again. He's coming into Advanced. I guess I have a couple questions. Question one is, how far is Twiggy willing to take it this time? If they qualified to MDL again, is he going to go with them, or is he going to abandon again? Are they going to go to LANs? Are they going to compete at LAN? Why did Twiggy leave in the first place if now he's back? Was it just he had too much pressure in the instance? I want to understand.
Yeah, very true. We didn't get a lot of info. We both interviewed Spermy, and he even called his mom and everything, and was just like, she had no idea.
He just walked away.
Yeah, he was just done.
I don't know, guys. Has Twiggy ever competed at a LAN?
I don't know. I feel like he hasn't.
That's a big question. If he hasn't, just inherently, at some point, you got to show your faith on LAN, and
it's gonna be Archie Monday all over again.
I mean, it was a pretty big LAN dodge, and it was very last minute. There are questions when that happens. There are questions that need to be answered after that happens. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm very happy to see Spermy back. I'm happy to see Koga back. I love that era roster. I was very sad when Twiggy abandoned and the roster fell apart.
Yeah, I was excited to meet Twiggy too, because I was actually a big fan. I had hyped him up on my podcast before.
He was legit.
I was genuinely a fan of Twiggy. I liked the relationship that he and Phantom had in Twitch chats. Anytime they saw each other, it was just take NRG, give please to each other. They were friends too. It seemed like. So I was genuinely a fan of the team, and I was a fan of him as a player, and I was all excited to meet him.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I have trust issues. Trust issues, Twiggy.
I do have trust issues with Twiggy. So Twiggy, if you're seeing this, come on as a guest to the show, and you can explain what happened.
Yes, that would be awesome.
We'd love to have you. What I will say is, based on this early Advanced Cup, both of these teams do belong in Advanced. By all means, they can both hang. So far, we had some questions about whether this cup system would be a good system. So far, so good.
Yeah, I think you got two good teams out of it. And for the rest of the teams, good luck in the lower divisions, because you did not make it.
You did not cut mustard.
It's a darn shame. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
The cream will rise to the top. The cream will rise to the top.
More topics. We are halfway through so far, and we are 40 minutes into the show, so we gotta get.
We're more than halfway through. We went through the meaty topics.
Very, very true. So we got DreamHack Stockholm coming up in 2 days now, coming up on the 29th. So we have our group stage predictions and our event winner predictions. Darth, take her away on Group A.
No, I want you to go first, because mine are
first.
You picked all the easy ones. You picked
I did.
The predictable
yeah, very true. I did not pick a single. I didn't go for a single upset this event.
Boring. Boring.
No. Going into this, I look at these groups. They look gross in terms of just I just don't believe in pretty much any of the teams. Group A: Astralis North, Tyloo, Greyhound Gaming. Tell me for a second that Tyloo or Greyhound are getting out of this group.
I'll tell you in a second. Don't worry. You go.
Heinous crimes. Group B: Na'Vi, NRG, NIP, Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming, you won a series over in Hong Kong. I don't care. Going into Group B, I don't care about that success. NRG will beat you. NIP will beat you. Navi will beat you. Done. You're not making it out of this group. I don't care if you go 1-2. You're not making it out of this group. NIP very well could. I will give it up to them. I am taking NRG and Navi, of course. That's expected. I will take NRG over NIP because NA pride, but also favorites. Group C, FaZe Clan, Fnatic, Optic Gaming, Heroic. After Hong Kong, Optic, hell no, they're not getting out of this group. Hell no. And then you're gonna tell me, and you know what? I'd even believe you a little bit if you told me that Heroic is beating Fnatic. Obviously, FaZe Clan will get out of this group. I don't doubt it for a second. But if you want to tell me Heroic could logically beat Fnatic, I will pretend to listen to you for a couple minutes. I will still take Fnatic and FaZe in that. Group D, Mousesports, MIBR, Hellraisers, and Gambit. I will understand if you took Hellraisers over MIBR. Coming off that victory in Hong Kong, they beat nobody. Nobody for a free win where they won 7 maps in a row. All right, they beat nothing.
Over here.
So now they actually
no,
have
they did
to
beat
compete.
Nothing. Nothing's not on a team right now.
He done did it to me, boys.
Gotcha.
They beat nobody. That's not a player. They beat. True. That is true.
Wait. Was somebody on? No, somebody's not on one of the rosters right now, is he?
I don't even think he's on like CyberZen or anything. I think he's on like
favorite.
Is he even on Tyloo? No, he's not. No, he's
on
not.
Tyloo.
No, he is on Tyloo.
He's on Tyloo. So they did beat somebody.
Oh,
no, they didn't. They didn't get a chance to play somebody.
That's true because they played Flash. Which is
get a chance to
irrelevant.
play somebody.
So if you want to tell me that Hellraisers will beat MIBR, I will accept that. If you want to tell me that Gambit will beat them, I'll kind of laugh at you because the mirror version of this team blows. Like, once Zeus was gone, I was just like, okay, maybe they could still do something. And then Mir comes into the team. I'm like, okay, Mir's a good Russian. Now the team blows, and now I don't care anymore. So if you want to say that Hellraisers will beat MIBR, totally fine. Mousesports, I'll take in this. I didn't take a single upset. I don't believe in any of the teams besides NIP, maybe Heroic, and Hellraisers, but I still will take all the favorites. 100%.
It's just so boring. It's so boring to take all the favorites. Where's the fun? All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of spice, folks. I predicted some curveballs. Not too many, but some curveballs. Some spicy meatballs.
We're throwing you a 100-mile-an-hour ball here.
Fastball. So, Team A, Astralis. You can't predict against Astralis. They're just too good. You can't predict against Astralis. But what I will say is Denmark cannot be happy. They don't get 2. They don't get 2 out of the group. Tyloo, surprise everybody. They triumph over North. They've been looking good. Bentet is good. They lost to Kingwin. That's disappointing. Don't get me wrong. But Bentet is good. Exacurate is good. They're gonna make it happen. They're gonna make it happen. Tyloo gonna make it out of group. So it's Astralis, Tyloo out of Group A. That's my spicy curveball early on. Second curveball, Navi. Great recent form. Tremendous recent form. They're gonna continue it. They'll make it out of group. Easy peasy. No problem. They don't drop a map. That's my prediction. First of all, they don't drop a map. Second prediction, Ghost. Make it out of groups. This is somewhat of a heart pick.
He's coasting. This guy's coasting off one series.
I'm ghosting you. They're gonna triumph. I think NRG. First of all, NIP hasn't shown me anything to be beatable or a good team at this point. They could. They've got the ingredients, but I'm just not buying into the NIP hype right now.
Okay. Understand.
What I'll say is NRG absolutely should beat Ghost 9 times out of 10. But the last time we saw them in a pressure situation was the major qualifier with a bunch of teams that they should have beat, and they should have made it to the major, and they choked. And they choked against lesser competition than Ghost.
Very true. I'll give you that. I'll be fair. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So what I'll say is, yeah, NRG won some random event that was similar to this MIBR one. Beat nobody and won. NRG went out to, I think it was in Malaysia, and stomped and won an event. Great. Confidence booster. Hopefully they bring that through. Hopefully I'm a pet can calm them down. They can follow through. But I'm saying once they're back in a hype situation on a big stage, the issues rear their head again. I don't know if they make it. high pressure situation. It's a young team. So that's why I'm giving Ghost the edge.
Okay.
NRG absolutely should beat them. They should be favorites, but that's no fun. Predicting all the favorites is how you turn into Balti baby. So I'm gonna take
What's
Ghost.
wrong with that? What's wrong with me?
And now I'm boring because not even I can predict anyone other than FaZe and Fnatic coming out of that group. I mean, there's just Heroic and Optic. It'll be a shocker if either of them make it out of the group. That's just a brutal group draw for both teams.
Very true. And this is the Heroic with Mertz, seeing
This
as
is
the
the Heroic
Nico
with
Mertz
Mertz.
trade. So this is the Mertz version of that, which isn't to say that Mertz is bad. I'm a big Mertz fan, but I just don't know if it helps you.
Yeah. And then finally, also I have no faith in Gambit and Hellraisers. Yeah, I don't know. They do stuff sometimes. You can't predict Hellraisers is what I'll say. Hellraisers, like 90% of the time, are nothing, and then every once in a while they're just like, oh yeah, we're a good team now, and they slaughter. And so
it's not that they're a good team. It's just Woxic and ISEA are monsters. So when they go into the server, they're just like, yo, let's just these kids, and then they do. It's just the rest of the team needs to like pull it together.
They're a good upset team, so I'll give them the possibility, but I'm still gonna pick MIBR. And now Mouse hasn't looked that impressive with Snacks, but we'll see.
But I mean, in this group, I realistically can't not take Mouse.
They should make it out. And then winner of the tournament, we're both super boring.
Oh yeah, it's Astralis.
It's Astralis.
It's Astralis.
It's 100%.
Like I'm not.
Navi could win. Navi could do it.
They could do it. Very true. But I'm still gonna take Astralis.
I'm gonna take Astralis too, to be honest with you.
I mean, hey, if FaZe Clan want to come out of nowhere and win the Intel Grand Slam, I'm all for it. I'd actually even hype up.
Would that be the Grand Slam for them?
It would be the Grand Slam
for them. All right, I'm changing my prediction.
If they can actually win this, that would be quite impressive. Wow.
It's FaZe now.
Just straight changing.
I want to see it. I want to see history made. Also, Olaf has had time to actually play with the team now instead of just being like, oh, I'm back, by the way, guys. So maybe they reintegrate him. That team were world beaters earlier. The problem is just overcoming Astralis. Astralis is so damn good.
Very true. So should I throw a spicy pick in there just because I'm going all favorites? All right, here we go. This is the spicy pick. I don't know if you're ready. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Can I open
3, 2, 1. I'm going for Ninjas in Pajamas, baby. Woo! My boys over there in Swedenland, they're going to do it. I believe in them. Forrest, Get Right, Rez, Dennis Lecro, and Pitta as the coach. They're doing it. Adjust my headband real quick because NIP's going to win the whole event, bro. It's done. It's dusted. I'm taking Ninjas in Pajamas.
But see, here's the thing, Balti. First of all, I knew you had that. I didn't know it was coming out. I'm a little horrified. So this is my weeaboo co-host, everybody.
Hello.
Second, it's not in Oakland though. And NIP's powers only work in Oakland. And
very true.
Not in Oakland.
100% sarcasm. I don't believe them.
Nope, that's your prediction. NIP win this event.
Okay, yep, got to change the Google Doc. There we go. If we're both changing our boring picks,
NIP,
walk
it back.
NIP now, bro.
Bold statement. Balti has staked his claim. NIP is going to come out of nowhere. Crowd advantage. Now their home crowd advantage is in Oakland. Why? I couldn't tell you, but their home crowd advantage is in Oakland.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Oakland just believes in the Nip magic.
They do.
And apparently so do I. Apparently I do too. So
they're into big nips. So now we're gonna move on to
Mom. He said big nips on stream.
So there we're gonna talk about roster moves. We talked about Bialy out of VP. I think we kind of beat that dead.
Yeah. Just like their chances
for
of
once, there really wasn't much of a move. There haven't been moves this week.
Yeah, it's been a little slow.
It's been quiet.
Slow.
Resolute. I think everyone's grinding at this point, trying to just get ready for the season.
Yeah, very true. So we got Resolute dropping their squad, and they have now become test takers, or testies, as they are more affectionately known.
Yeah, I mean, Resolute was one of those teams where it's like, who is this? Okay, they picked up a team.
And then they didn't make playoffs. So it feels
Yeah.
bad, man. So the new squad is Tens, Food, Toy, Som, the full Asian lineup, and then Rico just for funsies. So that's it. That's the squad.
All right. Last little interesting bit is Odorous tweeted that if he doesn't make Pro League this season, he's done with CS. That's a pretty big statement. Do you believe him?
No.
No?
Nobody ever just quit CS, drops it cold turkey, done.
It's
Doesn't
too
happen.
much of a drug in your veins.
It is. There's no way. There's no way Odorous lights up the MDL every single season for as many seasons as he has. Whatever. Irrelevant. We'll give him a pass. We'll give it. It's not a move up season, so now that it matters and he wants to make pro, now we'll count it. Anyways, Odorous, despite his rough season, we'll depreciate his value a little bit here.
Okay.
Lights it up every season except season 28. And then to just say the blanket statement of I'm done playing Counter-Strike if I don't make pro. I call
when we talked, because I did do a Darf Talks with Odorous. Again, if you haven't seen that, I recommend checking out the Nerd Street Gamers YouTube channel, giving it a watch. It gives some interesting insight into chat. He actually had some really interesting answers. And there was an element of, if I don't make pro at this point, like, I don't know what roster I'm going to make pro with. Like, there was that sense from him. So the teams looked really good. I mean, they lost to Cloud9, but it was a 2-1. They're looking pretty strong as a team. They've had some good form recently. The problem is just that MDL is going to be so stacked next season. It's going to be
it's not going to be easy. We have the so we're going to see my mic cut.
Yeah, it just cut. What'd you say?
I was talking about how the MDL relegation tournament's coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the 4 new teams are going to be coming in. Basically, Team 1 and then 3 other plugs that probably won't make playoffs. So there you go.
I don't know if Team 1's going to make playoffs. Here's the thing. Team 1 in the qualifiers, like, they're really good, but I don't know if they're, like, they lose to Swole Patrol, they lose to Vision. Like, I don't know if they're quite ready for MDL.
But here's the thing: they lose the series. Do they take maps in regular season?
I don't think they did. I don't think they took a single map in the quali in IEM. I could be wrong. And here's the thing: yes, they're ready for MDL. I'm sorry, that was not something I should have said. They're absolutely ready for MDL. I don't know if they're ready to win MDL. I'll put it that way. I don't know if they're ready to make playoffs.
To win MDL.
Okay, they took a map off of Swole Patrol. They beat Angie's Big Toe, irrelevant. And they took a map off of Vision. So yeah, sure. Okay. They actually did better than I thought they did.
So we'll give them a benefit of the doubt. They can take maps and they can more than likely earn enough to get them a playoff spot.
They can compete.
They can compete. They are in the bubble, if not bottom top 8.
Okay.
At least we can agree on that.
All right.
I think that is all for roster moves. We move into the last topic of the day as we near the end of our wonderful show. GEXcon is coming up. I don't really know much info on it, considering I'm not attending the event.
I think groups are coming out tonight.
Ooh.
But I wonder if they've been released yet. Has someone released groups yet? Because if so,
check it right now. We need to know.
Checking it right now.
Right now.
No?
Get on it.
No, they're not out. They're not out yet.
Okay, rip.
Guys, can you publish groups for us, please?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be cool. That'd be chill. Leak it. John, are you in here right now?
Leak groups.
Allie, do you have groups
on our show?
Leak them. All right.
Now that we peer pressured them, they're probably not. Unfortunately, not.
So it's gonna be a great time. It's a 10K. It's part of the Eastern Conference Championship stop. They actually definitely should have given those to us to announce. That would have been hype. It's gonna be part of the Nerd Street Gamers Eastern Conference Championship. So the winner here will qualify, and by qualify I mean get free entry and travel support to the Philadelphia Championship, which is going to be a 30K to round out the year at the end of the year. It's exciting times. It's exciting times.
So you told me earlier about GEXcon. My headband here, my wonderful Naruto headband, would be very welcome at this event. Is that the case?
It will be. It will be fitting. GEXcon is a wild time. GEXcon is a wild time because And it was similar to my experience at Tokyo and Tulsa, because there's a whole convention going on completely independent of the tournament, and then there's a tournament going on. So you're just going to be having a conversation, then all of a sudden, out of the corner of your eyes, there's like 5 Pikmin wander by. I remember last year I was having a conversation with Mark with Bach, and we hear a voice from behind us, "Excuse me," and we turn around and there's 2 girls, one dressed like a dragon and one dressed like a nymph, wearing very little clothing and like heavy prosthetics and makeup.
Hey, shout out to
Do
her.
you know where the streamer section is? We were both just speechless. Like, well, what is our life right now? Took us a minute to be like, no, we have no idea. Sorry. It's a wild world.
Face. We don't know.
It's a ton of fun. They've got all sorts of tournaments. There's a Rocket League tournament. I've actually got some buddies coming out to compete and get stomped in that.
Nice.
There's apparently I think groups might be out. No, never mind. It's just a crappy Photoshop. You should see it though. It's beautiful. Griff, can you throw that up on screen? Griff, make it happen. So anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun. GEXcon's going to be a ton of fun. If you're in the area, you should come check it. Come hang out with me. Come hang out with the players. I'm going to have a great time. I know that much. I'm going to have a very great time.
I hope you do.
Did you see the Photoshop?
The Photoshop?
It's in CSGO General on the Nerd Street Discord. It's a hasty Photoshop by Chris, by Pluro.
Where?
Beautiful.
I'm in General.
It's your new avatar.
Where? I don't see it.
Nerd Street Gamers Discord and CSGO General. It's literally the most recent thing.
Oh, CSGO General. Okay, sorry. I was in General Hangout.
I think it's getting thrown on the screen. It's on the screen. It's on the stream. Yeah, baby. He just disconnected.
Wait, hello?
You just killed your camera.
I don't know how I did that.
Now it's just a close up of my face. Hello, people. Look at my close up face. Can you?
I'm sorry. Yes. Hi. Hey. We're back. We're back.
Now that we've been memeing, we do kind of need to end this show on a bit more of a somber note. Obviously, as I'm sure that everyone who's watching this right now is aware, there was a terrible tragedy yesterday at a Madden tournament in Jacksonville. Someone opened fire. Disgruntled competitor opened fire. Several people were killed. Many more were injured. It's a terrible tragedy and a very frightening occurrence, both for those people, for those of us who knew people who were there, and for the scene in general, for the esports scene in general. We wanted to take a moment to offer our deepest sympathies for everyone who was impacted by that, and to know that our thoughts are with you, and that this kind of thing is unacceptable and has no place in esports. Esports is about coming together for competition in games that we all love. It's about sharing a passion for something that we all love. It's about knowing and sharing an experience with people, with competing, with trash talk, with meeting friends who you've played with online. It's a welcoming environment and experience, and it has to be that. And this is a terrible tragedy. And there are all sorts of other discussions to be had about it that the greater media and environment is having. But from our perspective, we offer our deepest sympathies, and this can't happen at esports events.
Ban guns.
That's a conversation for a more serious medium.
I'm not sure. I'm just saying blanket statement.
For now, it's a rough time. It's a hard time for all of us, I think. One of Nerd Street's own was there. Dubby. He is apparently okay. Though I'm sure not terribly happy in the wake of it. And Steven Sasquatch, Chicos, the organizer of Philadelphia, a pillar of the North American CS community, and someone who I saw not too long ago, was there as well and is apparently okay. So those are good things, but it's a tragedy.
It is. Doesn't belong.
Does not belong.
But that is the way we're gonna end on that somber note. After Darth has brought you to tears.
So what I'll say as a parting thought is appreciate your loved ones, appreciate the games, appreciate your community, appreciate the people who make this community special and who make this community inclusive and great. And I hope to see all of you at GEXcon. As many of you as can make it out, come out to GEXcon. It'll be a great event. It'll be a great time. We will have a very fun, safe, enriching experience.
They upped their security. So there you go. They upped their security. So they are making changes.
It's changes that will inevitably reverberate around the scene. I mean, this is just going to happen. Grassroots events, every event is going to have to grapple with the effects of these. I mean, I'm sure this tournament was exactly like, tens of tournaments that I've been to, just local people come and die, having a good time. It's going to change things. But you can't live in fear. You have to live your life. You have to experience your life. You have to indulge in the things you love and pursue them. And so that's the parting thought. These were a bunch of people coming together to participate in a thing that they loved, and that's something worth fighting for. So
there you go.
After that serious note, a lot more serious than we usually get on Drop Room.
Yeah, very true.
A lot more serious than we usually get on Drop Room. We will be back next week for a wrap up of GEXcon and everything that happened over the weekend and everything coming. It'll be 6 p.m. EST here, same time, same place, same faces.